Radical.
You know, I've been watching and loving every single bit of the Cody Rhodes, Rock, Seth Rollins bloodline story. It's really been done masterfully. But I've sadly only been able to find the time to watch these clips on YouTube. I don't have the time to, or maybe I'm busy, to actually follow SmackDown or Raw or the shows these segments are on. But I'm loving everything I see right here. It's just a joy catching full segments like this, and I'll leave a link to it after this. The Rock sings Cody Rhodes a song. Rock is absolutely peak form. Now, some of you may not know The Rock from wrestling. You know, he left wrestling in the early thousands, and he went to have a successful movie career. Mostly, I would say hits, some stinkers, though. I mean, a stinker would be Doom. Maybe Doom's better than I thought. I don't know. But, you know, Scorpion King, Doom, Walking Tall. Walking Tall is a great one. I feel, though, when The Rock left wrestling, it left a gigantic void, much like when Steve Austin left wrestling. Those were two of the huge names. And then you had John Cena, you had CM Punk, to a lesser extent CM Punk. But you basically had John Cena running things. When he left, there's Roman Reigns. You know, but there really wasn't anyone that came by that was truly the electrifying wrestling superstar like The Rock. Now that he's back, I think he's better than ever. He hasn't lost a step. I mean, maybe in the ring, if he's actually wrestling matches, you know, then you might see some flaws and errors because he's a lot older. But when it comes to presentation, when it comes to being the best on the mic, The Rock's the damn best, man. I'm sorry. The Rock is just the best. He holds the crowd in the palm of his hands. You know he's having fun. It's just a joy seeing The Rock out there, man. Now, they run a risk. The WWE is running a risk by having The Rock be this way. Be, you know, still the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. By having him be The Rock and not tone it down and be subtle. In this segment, he comes out, and you'd think he was a babyface because he's coming to Memphis. He's not cracking jokes about the audience and the crowd being meth heads or whatever. Now, he doesn't make a crack at John Morant being stupid for waving a pistol and whatnot, which is true. John Morant is a stupid motherfucker that's sacrificing his basketball career because he wants to look like a thug. I've talked about that before. And he, of course, plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. So, you know, you could say this crowd, because of the history with The Rock, they're not going to boo The Rock. And towards the end, he maybe gets some boos, but he's not going to get booed out of this building because it is Memphis and that's where he got his start. He talks about that. But they run a risk here if they want a certain thing to happen at WrestleMania. Now, some of you might have recalled Hulk Hogan took on The Rock in 2002, I believe. And Rock was supposed to be the babyface, but Hulk Hogan actually wound up getting all the cheers in that match, which was surprising and shocking to WWE. Generally, you want the crowd to go a certain way for you if a certain wrestler wins. When Roman Reigns held up his hand with The Rock years back, it was a chorus of boos. The Rock looked around. He was surprised that the crowd was booing Roman Reigns. Now, I don't know if Cody Rhodes would be particularly booed if he finished his story and held up that title, but they run a risk here by having The Rock still be electrifying. By still having him be electrifying, I think you're taking a lot of the shine off of Cody Rhodes. Now, they did have him slap him across the face, and he didn't respond to it. So what do you do, though? Do you have The Rock take a step back? Do you have him be a cowardly heel? Whatever you got to do, though, WWE, you cannot have a situation to where you have The Rock, who is, like I said, electrifying on the mic, a international superstar. You have to make sure you have Cody Rhodes be more popular than him, if that's even possible. Do whatever you got to do. Book it however you got to book it. But having The Rock come out here, even though it was incredibly entertaining to see The Rock do his routines and everything, you run a terrible risk of taking a little bit of shine off of Cody Rhodes and his story now. What doesn't help matters is the fact that Cody Rhodes, his delivery is incredibly dry on the mic. He seemingly doesn't have a whole lot of passion in his slow, methodical delivery. And he doesn't have the kind of booming voice to pull off that slow, methodical style. Now, there is one possibility I'll throw out there. It is. And it would make sense if they're still kind of booking The Rock to be kind of like a half babyface kind of deal. If they're making him kind of like a tweener, this would make a lot of sense. Also, would make a lot of sense considering the fact that The Rock, when he holds up the sign for the bloodline, he has an L. Pay attention to it. It's been not so subtle. Whenever they hold their arms up at the end, his hand sign is a little bit different. So it could be a situation to where on the Bloodline Rules night, he actually switches and sides with Cody. And he starts, attacking the Bloodline. That would make perfect sense if that's the story they're actually leading to here, to where The Rock has been, just kind of playing like he's been part of the Bloodline. And maybe it's a power play. Maybe he's trying to take over the Bloodline. Who knows? Maybe Cody Rhodes becomes part of the new Bloodline. Who knows what's going to happen? But the only way this would make sense is if they're not completely turning The Rock heel because they still kind of want to leave that out there. If that's the case, then that's brilliant. But if they actually have an idea that they're going to not make The Rock a traditional heel, a chicken shit heel, backing down from Cody, then that's very dangerous if they want a certain crowd effect at WrestleMania. They might not exactly get what they want.